Good morning, everyone. This is Robert from RJL 518, welcoming you to another edition of Morning Baseball. This is Inside Pitch, the 1985 one and gone. This is the third round and the final game of the third round, game number 22. It's the number 6 Kansas City Royals taking on the number 3 my New York Mets at 98-64 here at Shea Stadium. The Kansas City Royals have they moved on after going ahead and defeating the Detroit Tigers. They crushed them, as a matter of fact, 11-2 in the second round. The Mets had to defeat a tough Houston Astros team in game number 15. They won that game 4-2 as the Mets move on here to play the Royals. This is the final game of the third round, and the winner of this game goes to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. We got a good matchup, I think, here, a pitching matchup. It's going to be a tight game. Both these teams were excellent. The Royals were 91-71, and of course, they won the World Series in 85. The Mets were 98-64, finished only 3 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals. I really wonder what would have happened if the Mets had been able to overtake the Cardinals in that season. But of course, the Cardinals took care of the Mets in that final week. It really would have been interesting to see the Mets play the Royals. And, of course, the Mets, here, and this is 1985, and, of course, the Mets would play the Royals 30 years later in the 2015 World Series. So if you want to say this is a rematch of a series that will take place 30 years later, I guess it's fine with that. Steeler fan is first to join us here at Shea Stadium. And I know he's looking forward to watching this game, as we'll see how the Royals and the Mets will deal. This could have been very interesting to see how this World Series would have went. So, final game of the third round. The winner here takes on the Blue Jays. Let's take a look at the starting pitcher for the 1985 New York Mets. It is Ron Darling. He was 16-6 with a 2.90 ERA. He gets the call for the Mets in this game. And let's see what happens. Let's get going. We are at the National League ballpark, so the American League, so the pitchers do bat. Leading off for the Royals, center fielder Willie Wilson. Let's get it underway. Big game between the World Series champion and the Mets, and a team that might have had a good chance of winning it all that year as well. 4-3 from Darling, strikeout chance. Shea Stadium adds 2 to strikeouts, subtracts 1 to walks, no home run adjustment. Strikeout chance on Wilson, that's a 12, that's an 11, and he does strike out Willie Wilson for out number 1. First strikeout for Darling, he did have 167 strikeouts that year. Philip Reynolds joins us here at Shea Stadium. Next up for the Royals, left fielder Lonnie Smith. Darling's pitch, 6-1, that's a walk plus 10, and Smith will trot down to first on a walk. Runner at first base for the Royals, Smith, very good speed. Here's the third baseman, Hall of Famer George Brett. Let's see, that is a 7, and Lonnie Smith does have a good steal rating. He's going to go 16 minus 2 is a 14. Carter has no adjustment, so a 1-14. Smith will steal second base, and he does easily. Smith goes to second, and now Brett will go with a man on second. We'll bat there, normal, back infield is normal, rolling a strat die again. This time, that's a 7, and this time there will be no play. Smith will not attempt to steal third. Darling will pitch to Brett. Here is the pitch, 2-2. That's a strikeout chance. And Brett does go down on a 9 against a righty. Brett is a 7, but +2 from Shea Stadium makes it a 9. That is a 9. He strikes out Brett. Second strikeout for Darling. Next up for the Royals is in right field, Darryl Motley. Runner on second. See if there's a strat roll. There's a 3. Do I let Smith try to steal third? Let's see. 8 minus 1 is 7. Divided by 2 is 3.5. Smith could try to steal third, but with 2 outs, I'm going to leave him. I don't think he would. It would be again a 1-14 to try to steal third. Smith's going to stay at second. A base hit will probably score him. So with a base running rating of 4, a base hit will score him probably. So we'll go ahead and let Motley hit. Darling's pitch, 1-1. That's a range play. Motley swings, 6-1. It's a fly ball to left. That ball is hit to George Foster. His range is a 2. Foster can't make it. That is a base hit. Is it a single or a double? That's a single. So it becomes a single 7. Lonnie Smith's base running rating is a 4. +1 for 2 outs is a 5. And George Foster adds 2, which is a 7, so there's not going to be a throw. Lonnie Smith will score from first base, and the Royals jump out in front 1-0. On an RBI single by Motley. Forever Remain 90 joins us here at Shea Stadium. RBI hit by Motley as Foster could not get to the play. Here is the second baseman, Frank White. Strat roll says an 18, no play. White's not going to bunt. Here's the pitch from Darling. That's a 1-5, error on a throw. White will swing, 1-3. That's a ground ball to third. The ball is hit to Johnson. His error rating is an 11, and that is going to be a 2. That is an error on Johnson. It's a throwing error, so the throw is going to go to first. Now it's a throwing error. Question is, first of all, does Hernandez prevent the throw from going by him? He does not. That is, gets right past Hernandez. That is a bad throw by Johnson. That is a bad throw by Johnson. Now to the base runner's advance. Motley's base running rating is a 3. You add 1 because of the 2 outs. He does not, and he does advance to third on the error. White's base running rating is also will advance to second. So that is an error on a throw, and the runners advance an extra base. That's an E5. Oh, Mets not getting off to a good start here on the top of the first. First error on the Mets. As Howard Johnson threw that ball away into the dugout. Runners at second and third. The batter is first baseman Steve Balboni. And Darling will pitch to him. 2 outs. The infield is normal. I'll roll a strat. That's a 7, no play. Darling will pitch. And that's a 5-3. That's a walk chance. The 19 will be too high. Balboni swings 5-2. It's a ground ball to first. That'll be taken care of by Hernandez, and he will tag the bag and end the inning. 1 run for the Royals on 1 hit and an error as the Royals get off to a 1-0 start here after 1/2 inning. Not an auspicious start for the Mets. Starting pitcher for the 1985 Kansas City Royals will be Charlie Leibrandt, 17-9 with a 2.69 ERA. Very good pitcher. Leading off for the Mets, center fielder Mookie Wilson. To lead off the bottom of the first. Pitch from Leibrandt, 2-5. Range play at the park. Shea Stadium, 1-2. That is a blank. We got a rare play. So no range play as we roll for a rare play with men bases empty. That's a 6-6. If outdoors, a storm front passes through, causing a rain delay. Really? Roll 1d20. There's not going to be a rain out, but there could be. But a 4d20 is added to the current pitcher's batters faced. Oh boy! So a rain delay moves through here at Shea Stadium. Are you kidding me? My Mets, and I got to get this roll. So we got to roll to see where the tiredness comes in. I'm not going to rain the game out, obviously. So let's see what we got here. So we roll a 1d20 for Leibrandt. His batter's face is a 30. That's a 3. So he's already he's facing his first batter. So his fatigue rating will now be a 27. Darling's base is 28. And we add 17 to that. Oh boy. Darling may already be tired. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 17 is 23. So 28 plus, yeah. Darling, let me just double check this. 4 to 20 is added to the current pitcher's batters faced. If this puts the pitchers over their tired rating, he does not return. If under his tired rating, he is lowered the 1d20 amount. So his tired rating for Darling is 28, and he already pitched to 6 batters. So 6 plus 17 is 23 is 23. So he is not under his tired rating yet, but he will be tired after 5 more batters. Wow. What a time for that to come in. And we re-roll. So Mookie Wilson will do it again, but now Leibrandt is now out after 27 batters instead of 30, and Darling's going to be tired after the next 5. You got to be kidding me. Biggest game for the Mets since 1969, and they can't even keep the rain away. Keith White says go Royals here at Shea Stadium. We will do it again after the rain delay. Leibrandt will pitch 4-1. That is a double question mark. And Mookie Wilson is hitting from the right side. 1-4 is an automatic out. And that is a 4. And that's going to be a fly out to center. Can't keep the rain away. 1 out. What a way to start the game. Here's Wally Backman at second base. Leibrandt's pitch, 3-4. That's an error on a throw. Backman swings, 5-5, star 4. That's a ground ball to shortstop. The ball is hit to Concepcion. His error rating is a 10. That's an 11. There's no error. He will throw to first and get the out. And that's out number 2. Here's the first baseman, Keith Hernandez, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Leibrandt's pitch, 5-6, strikeout chance, and he gets Hernandez easily with a 1, and that ends the inning. So a big rain delay hurts Darling more than it hurts Leibrandt, and it's 1-0 at the end of 1. We go to the top of the second. Jim Sundberg leads off for the Royals. He's the catcher. And that is the 3-3. And against the righty, that's a straight home run check. Sundberg against the right-hander is a 5. That's a 9. It will be a blank. Sundberg will swing still, 4-6, and he grounds it to second base. Out number 1. Whoa, Darling got away with that. Here's the shortstop, Onyx Concepcion. 2-6 for Darling. That's a strikeout chance. 15 is too high. Concepcion swings 1-4. He also grounds it to second. Next batter is the pitcher, Charlie Leibrandt. Leibrandt lifetime batting average was 120. Since he did not have any hit at bats at all in 1985, actually that's not true. He did actually in the World Series in 85, but I gave him a batting card average of 111, so he actually can hit the ball. I went, that's the closest I got to 120, and that's a brand new hitting card. I just created that one. 2 outs, the pitch will go to Leibrandt. Darling's pitch, 4-1, that's a blank. Leibrandt swings 6-3, and that's a fly out to center, and that will end the inning. 1, 2, 3, go the Royals. We go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0. Leading off for the Mets, catcher Gary Carter, the kid. Leibrandt with the pitch, 6-4, that's at the park. Shea Stadium, 6-6. That's a home run to the pull side. Gary Carter against the lefty, that is a 20, and that is a 13. That's automatic. Crack as he hits this one straight into left field, and that ball is gone. Gary Carter, solo home run. Stadium cheers. Yay! Section 518 cheers. Yay! Gary Carter ties it up on a home run. And we're tied at 1. Home run to the pull side, and Carter sent that into left and got that one out of here. Next batter is right fielder Darryl Strawberry. He was the hero of the game against the Astros in the second round. Pitch from Leibrandt. That's a 6-4. That's also at the park. Shea Stadium 6-4. That's going to be a star 4, and that's a ground out to shortstop. Out number 1. Here's left fielder George Foster, who never really turned out to be what the Mets were hoping he would be. Leibrandt with the pitch. That is Suadice will re-roll. 3-1. That's a blank. Foster gets to swing. 3-6. Line drive right to Brett, and he snags it. Out number 2. Third baseman Howard Johnson. Leibrandt takes a pitch, 5-3. That's a strikeout chance, and the 7 gets Johnson. And that ends the inning. 1 run on a single home run, on a solo shot by the kid. We are tied at 1 at the end of 2. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Willie Wilson will bat against Darling. Now, even though Darling can be tired, I don't have to remove him unless after 2. I don't have to remove him officially with that optional rule I have until a tired cell comes up. But he has 2 bases he has 2 batters before that happens. Darling will pitch to Wilson. 1-3. That's a double question mark. And against the switch hitting left, that's a 1-19 as an automatic out, and it will be. And that's going to be a ground out to short. Here's Lonnie Smith. Smith walked his last time up and scored on a sink and stole a base. Pitch from Darling. 2-6. That's a strikeout chance. And the 12 gets Smith. 10 plus 2 is 12. He strikes out Smith. Strikeout number 3 for Darling. Now Darling is tired. We'll see how long I can keep him in there. George Brett will be the batter. It just cannot land on 1-3, 4-4, or 1-4. Darling will pitch. That's a 6-2. That's a blank. Brett gets the swing, 4-4. Ground out to second base. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Darling. Charlie Leibrandt will come up to pitch, I'm sorry. And here is the shortstop for the Mets, Rafael Santana. Leibrandt. And that's a 5-2. That's a walk chance, and Santana does walk on a 2. Didn't walk many times, and even with the -1 from Shea Stadium, he walks Santana. The batter is the pitcher, Ron Darling. What do I want to do here? First, let's see what Strat Roll says. That is a 6. And that does not come up for the pitcher bunt rating. Darling batted 171 as a pitcher. Infield is halfway. I want to see if Darling can go a little further, even though he's tired after the rain delay. I'm going to let him hit. Darling will bat. Leibrandt with the pitch, 3-5. That's a strikeout, and yep, and Darling does go out on strikes. That is strikeout number 2 for Leibrandt, and that is 1 out. Here's Mookie Wilson. Santana still on at first. Strat Roll says a 16. There's no play. Infield is halfway. Leibrandt with the pitch. 3-2, strikeout chance, and the 1 gets Wilson. Strikeout number 3 for Leibrandt. And here's Backman. Rolling a strat. That's a 14. There's no play. Leibrandt pitches to Backman. 3-4. Error on a throw. Backman swings. 5-1 against the lefty. That's going to be a ground ball back to Leibrandt. And that his error rating is a 3. That's a 5. No error. He will throw it over to first and make the out. Nothing for the Mets except for a walk. At the end of 3, we are tied at 1. I know I made a need to take Darling out, but I want to see if he can go far. We go to the top of the 4th inning here. Darling is tired, but is not exhausted. Here's Darryl Motley. Motley got an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 1. Pitch from Darling. 6-4 against the righty. Strikeout plus 10, and he gets Motley on a K. That's strikeout number 4 for Darling. Here's Frank White. Darling's pitch. 3-4, strikeout chance. 15 is too high. White will swing. 4-1, and he flies out to center. Put away there by Mookie. Here's Steve Balboni. 2 outs. Darling will pitch. That's a 4-5. That's a home run with a question mark. Balboni's a righty. A 1-12 passes. That's an 18 too high. Balboni gets the swing, though. 5-2, and he grounds it to Hernandez at first. And even though Darling is tired, he's reaching back for as much as he can get, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Darling. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still tied at 1. Here's Keith Hernandez. Hernandez struck out his last time up. Pitch from Leibrandt. That's a 5-4. That's a blank. Hernandez takes a swing. 4-3. Star 5, and he flies out to center. The Shea Stadium crowd gives Gary Carter a nice cheer as he comes up. Hit a home run his last time up. Here's the pitch from Leibrandt. 1-4 against a righty. That's a blank. Carter gets the swing. 1-4, and he pops it to short. Ball is caught by Concepcion. That's out number 2. And now here's Darryl Strawberry. Leibrandt with the pitch. 1-5. Walk chance. The 16 against the lefty is good. He does walk Strawberry. He's got a 17 against the lefty. Subtract 1 from Shea Stadium. The 16 is still good, and Strawberry goes to first. Second walk issued by Leibrandt. He had 65 of them in 85. And now a chance for George Foster. Infield is normal. Strat roll says a 19, no play. Leibrandt will pitch to Foster. Can Foster come through with a hit for my Mets? 5-4, that's a blank. Foster swings. 6-6, fly ball center field, and that will end the inning. A walk is all the Mets get. At the end of 4, still tied at 1. Top of the 5th inning. Ron Darling. He is tired but not exhausted. Jim Sundberg will lead off for the Royals here in the top of the 5th. Mets bullpen is ready. Darling is due to bat third in the inning. This will probably be his last inning no matter what. Darling's pitch. 4-4. That's a tired. He is tired. That's a base hit right up the middle. And Sundberg goes ahead and gets to first base on a single. And that will be it for Darling, as I have to take him out after that. Here's Onyx Concepcion. Let's see who the Mets want to bring in to pitch to him. Coming on to pitch for the Mets. I really don't want to bring him in yet. So I'm going to go with Terry Leach. 3-4, 1 save, a 2.91 ERA. Terry Leach will come in and pitch since the pitcher is due to bat third. Sundberg on at first, infield halfway. There are no outs. Strat roll says a 15. Concepcion, nope, there will be no play. Cody Travis joins us here at Shea Stadium. Welcome, sir. Terry Leach will pitch to Concepcion. Leach, that's a 3-1. That's a range play. Concepcion swings. 3-3. That's a single to short. The ball is hit to Santana. His range is a 3, but with the infield halfway, it becomes a 2. Can Santana still make the play? No, he cannot. That's a base hit. It's a single 6. Sundberg, with a base running rating of 3, has to be a 5 in order to get to third, and he will hold at second. That brings up the pitcher, Charlie Leibrandt, with runners at first and second. Leibrandt will stay up there. Let's see if there's something up. That is a 5. There's not going to be a play. So Leibrandt will hit away. Here's the pitch from Leach. And that's a 6-5 against a lefty. That's a blank. Leibrandt swings. That's a 4-1, and he struck him out. That's the first out. Leibrandt did bat 120 as the hitter, and that's why, at least lifetime, so I gave him a 111 pitching card. Here's Willie Wilson with 1 out. The infield stays halfway. And that's a 20, and there's no pickoff play. Terry Leach does not have a pickoff, so there'll be no play. Will pitch to Wilson. Leach's pitch, 5-3, against a switch hitter. That's a blank. He's batting from the left side. Wilson swings, 6-6. It's a ground ball to first. The ball is hit to Hernandez. Willie Wilson, double play ratings a 1. -1 from Leach is a 0. A 1 there. Shortstop for Santana's no rating. So the only way they turn a double play is on a 1. They do not get it. The throw and the base running rating is Concepcion's base running rating is a 3, becomes a 2 with the halfway in. It's still a 2, so the only play was getting Wilson on at first. Concepcion gets to second. There are 2 outs. Runners do advance. And the batter now is Lonnie Smith with runners at second and third. Infield goes back to normal. Strat roll says a 3. There's not going to be a play. And Leach will pitch to Smith. 2 outs. Runners at second and third. Leach with the pitch. 3-3. Strikeout chance. 9 gets Smith. And that will end the inning. He gets out of it. Second strikeout for Leach. No runs. 2 hits for the Royals. Still tied at 1. We got a good ball game, as I expected we would, between these 2 teams. We are halfway through the game. Want to remind you tonight on Payoff Pitch, we have the Minnesota Twins taking on the New York Yankees on Payoff Pitch 85. So for all you Yankee fans or Yankee haters, the Yankees are on board. And tomorrow on Inside Pitch, we begin the semifinals, game number 23. The Yankees again, but this time they host the Cincinnati Reds. So for those of you Yankee haters or Yankee fans, it's Cincinnati at the Yankees tomorrow for Inside Pitch 1985, one and gone, semifinal game number 1. That game is going to be a blast. Garbage call. Bottom half of the 5th inning, tied at 1. Leibrandt still has lots in his tank, as unfortunately Darling took the brunt of that rain delay more than Leibrandt did. Howard Johnson leads off for the Mets. He struck out his first time up. Leibrandt will pitch, and that's a 2-1. That's a walk chance. The 16 is too high. Johnson gets the swing, 3-4, and he flies out to center. That's the first out. The batter will be Santana. Santana walked his first time up. Leibrandt, 4-2. That's a home run with a question mark. Against a righty, that's a 0. Santana would have had no chance to get it anyway. Because against a lefty, he has a home run of a 0, so that's a blank. Santana does swing, though, 5-1, and he singles past the shortstop for a base hit. Santana goes to first. He's on base for the second time. We'll have a pinch hitter coming in for Terry Leach as he is done. Let's see who the Mets want to bring in, and it will be Ray Knight. Ray Knight will go up against Charlie Leibrandt. Runner on first, 1 out. Infield is halfway. Strat roll says a 2. A possible hit and run, and why not? Ray Knight actually can go on. Santana can go on a hit and run. Or is that a hit and run? No, because of the -1 by Leibrandt, that actually becomes a -1. No hit and run play. Good thing I checked. So Knight will hit away normally. Cards and Dice TV joins us here at Shea Stadium. Leibrandt will pitch to Knight. No play. 6-6 from Leibrandt. It's a blank. Can Knight come through with a big hit? 2-4. Nope. It's a star 5. It's going to be a fly out to center. And that's out number 2. And now Mookie Wilson. Two outs. Strat roll says a 13, no play. Infield goes back to normal. Leibrandt with the pitch. 1-4 against the switch hitters, a right. That's a blank. Wilson takes a swing. 4-1, and he grounds it to second, and that ends the inning. No runs and a hit for the Mets. At the end of 5, tied at 1. We go to the top of the 6th inning. New pitcher coming on for the Mets. Probably see a right-hander. George Brett leads off. The Mets are going to go with Roger McDowell. 6-5, 17 saves, 2.83 ERA. He has a lot of appearances. We can use him even here in the 6th. Roger McDowell will go up against George Brett to start the top of the 6th inning. If you're just joining us, Ron Darling was considered tired early after a rain delay. Charlie Leibrandt, unfortunately, did. Darling got a lot of the rain delay. Unfortunately, Leibrandt did not. McDowell will pitch to Brett. Pitch from McDowell, 3-2. That's a blank. Brett gets the swing, 6-5, and he pops it to second base. That's out number 1. Batter now is Motley. McDowell pitches, 5-3. That's a home run with a question mark. Motley from the right side, a 1-12. That's a 1. It passes. Motley has a 16, a 1-16. He gets this one out of here, and it is way gone. Darryl Motley takes McDowell deep and way out of here with a 1. That is a goner. Somebody check the International Space Station. There might be a baseball heading for it. Solo home run by Darryl Motley, 2-1 Royals. Stadium and Section 518 groans. Ugh. Here's Frank White. That was a 1 on that one. That ball was crushed. That was probably hit into the parking lot. Frank White will go up against McDowell. One out here in the top of the 6th. McDowell's pitch, 1-2 against a righty. Walk plus 10, and White will trot down to first as McDowell gives up the walk. The batter will be Steve Balboni with 1 out. Infield goes halfway. Strat roll says a 6. There is no play. McDowell will go ahead and pitch. And that's a 5-6. And that's a hit by pitch chance. And the 8 is going to be too high. It's a blank. Balboni swings. 6-6. He grounds 1 to short. Balboni double play rating 4, -1, 3. Halfway plus 1 is 4. Second baseman is Backman. He has no adjustment. A 1-4, they turn it. And they do. Shortstop to second to first, double play. Inning over. One run on 1 hit, a solo jack by Motley. 2-1 Royals as we go to the bottom of the 6th. This will probably be Charlie Leibrandt's last inning. He is due to bat 3rd in the 7th, so this will be his last inning. Here's Wally Backman leading off for the Mets. He's 0 for 2. Bottom of the 6th, 2-1 Royals. That was a home run by the Royals, not by the Mets, guys. I wouldn't cheer on that, Steeler fan. That's 518 groans. Leibrandt will pitch to Backman. Here's the pitch, 2-4. Error on a grounder. Backman swings, 1-2, star 2. That's a ground ball to third. George Brett has an error rating of 6. That's a 3, and it's going to be an error. Backman's going to be safe at first as the throw takes Balboni off the bag, and Backman is safe at first on an error. That's an E5. George Brett makes an error. That's the first error on the Royals. Oh, what a big error that was. Oh, cheering the 6-4-3. Okay. Error on Brett. Backman automatically makes first. It's a ground ball error, so the runner only gets the extra base as he boots the ball. And now the batter is Hernandez. Tying run is on. Infield halfway. Check for Strat. That's a 14. No play. Leibrandt will pitch to Hernandez. That's a 4-1. That's a double question mark. Hernandez is a lefty. 1-9 is the star line. That's a 10. He avoids it. It's a blank. Hernandez gets the swing. 1-3. Ground ball to short. Hernandez double play ratings a 2. Nothing from Leibrandt. +1 is a 3. Second baseman White, no adjustment. A 1-3 is a double play, and it's not. Backman avoids it, gets to second base on a 6. The only play was at first. It's 1 out. It does move the tying run into scoring position. Almost worked like a hit and run. The batter is Gary Carter. Section 5 change of Leibrandt's mother and the Cubs Billy Goat. Backman on its second. Gary Carter already has a home run in the game. He is 1 for 2. Infield is normal. Strat roll says an 11, no play. Leibrandt will pitch to Carter. Here's the pitch, 2-5. Range play at the park. Shea Stadium, 4-1. That's a single into center. The ball is hit to Willie Wilson. He has a range of 3. Does he make the play? No, he does not. It's going to drop for a hit. And that will be a single. Wilson can't make the play. Backman's base running rating is a 4. There's a 4 on a single to center to get from second to home. You add 2. It's a 6. Wilson adds 1. It's a 7. Backman comes in to score automatically. Carter goes to first. It's tied at 2. Gary Carter smacks it. Wilson couldn't get there in time. Base hit. Second into the game for Carter. Tie ball game. As Section 518 goes crazy. Go ahead run on first base. Oh, wow, that was close too. Wilson's range was a 3 and he rolled a 4. And now a big chance for Darryl Strawberry. With 1 out, the infield goes halfway. Still rolling Strat. Strat roll says a 3. No play. No play. Gary Carter's a hit. The only way he can go is on a hit and run. And the 3 is higher than anything else there because of -1 automatically. Strawberry at the plate. He hit a big home run in the game against the Astros. Leibrandt's pitch. 3-5. Strikeout chance gets him. And that is strikeout number 4 for Leibrandt. And that's out number 2. Now can George Foster come through for the Mets? Still rolling a Strat. That's a 10, no play. Infield goes back to normal. Leibrandt with the pitch. 2-1. That's a walk chance, and he does walk Foster. Foster goes to first. The tying run is now in scoring position, and it's now up to Howard Johnson with 2 outs. Can Johnson come through with a hit? Runners at first and second. Still rolling a Strat. Strat rolls as a 16, no play. Leibrandt will pitch to Johnson. Leibrandt, 2-5. That's a range play at the park. Johnson, Shea Stadium, 2-4. That's a ground ball to second. The ball is hit to White. His range is a 4. The infield is normal. It's a 2 and he makes the play. White will throw to first and retire the side. 1 run for the Mets. 1 hit, a huge error, and a walk. At the end of 6, we're tied at 2. What a gigantic error by Brett. As it allows the Mets to tie the game up. Top of inning number 7. McDowell will stay out there. He will pitch to Jim Sundberg. That's going to be it for Leibrandt. He will not bat. He bats 3rd in the inning. He is done. And here's Sundberg. Pitch from McDowell. 4-2. That's at the park. Shea Stadium. 2-5. That's a fly ball to right field. And that's out number 1. Strawberry makes the play. The next batter is Onyx Concepcion. Pitch from McDowell. 1-6, error on a grounder. Concepcion swings 1-3. That's a fly ball hit to right field. Against the righty, that's a 14, and that's going to be higher than the right-handed side, and that's just going to be a fly out to right, and that's out number 2. No error because it's not a grounder. Pitcher is due up, but that's going to be it for Leibrandt. And coming on to pinch hit for the Royals will be George Orta. George Orta had 300 at bats. He's usually the designated hitter. But since we're at the National League ballpark, the DH rule not being used. McDowell will pitch to Orta with 2 outs. Pitch from McDowell, 4-6. That's an automatic out. And it's going to be a ground ball to first, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 inning by McDowell. 7th inning stretch, tied at 2. That's going to be McDowell's last inning as he's due to bat second. Rafael Santana leads off for the Mets. Alan Shaw joins us here at Shea Stadium. Let's see who the Royals want to bring in as a pitcher. Royal bullpen is kind of meh in some places. I don't think you bring in Quisenberry just yet. And although he didn't have that many appearances, I'm going to go with him for the Royals. Coming in to pitch for the Royals will be Steve Farr. 2-1 and a save, a 3.11 ERA. Steve Farr had 13 appearances. That's good enough for me. He'll come in there and pitch to Santana. Starting the bottom of the 7th. Alan Shaw says, loving the scoreboard. Pitch from Farr. That's a 1-2. That's a strikeout plus 10. The 19 is too high. Santana's a 6. Plus 2 is an 8. That's an 18 with a strikeout plus 10. That's a 19. Santana avoids a strikeout. That's a 3-4, but he flies out to left. And that's out number 1. Pinch hitter coming in for McDowell. And they're going to bring in Danny Heap. Heap had 271 at bats. He'll go up against Farr with 1 out. Heap had a 280 average. Farr will pitch. 2-3. That's a blank. He's not tired. Heap will swing. 5-5 against a righty. That's a ground ball. That's a ground ball to shortstop, and the throw goes to first for out number 2. Oh, he grounds out. 2 down. Here's Mookie Wilson. Farr pitches. 2-3. That's a blank. He's not tired. Wilson swings. 6-2. That's a ground ball to second base. Throw goes to first, and the inning is over. Wilson is 0 for 4 in this game. And a 1-2-3 inning for Farr. At the end of 7, tied at 2. Kind of like the game I expected would we get between these two teams. Top of the 8th inning. A switch, a right and a left. Willie Wilson coming up to bat for the Royals. Mets need a pitcher. And the Mets are going to go with Ed Lynch. In 1985, he was pretty good. Never really liked him, though. But Ed Lynch will pitch. 10-8, 3.44 ERA. Lynch is the next pitcher. Mets are saving Orozco for a different reason. Lynch will pitch to Wilson. Top of the 8th, tied at 2. Here's the pitch. 6-5 against a switch hitter. That's a blank. Wilson will bat. 1-2. That's a line drive right to third and right to Johnson. Out number 1. Johnson makes the catch. That had double written all over it. Here's Lonnie Smith. Pitch from Lynch. That's a 6-3. That's a strikeout chance. He gets him. Struck him out. 2 outs. And now can they get the dangerous George Brett? Lynch looking on. Here's the pitch. That's a 6-4. Error on a throw. Brett swings. 1-4. Star 4. That's a ground ball to third. The ball is hit to Johnson. His error rating is an 11. That's a 16. He will not make the error this time. Throws to first to get Brett, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 inning for Lynch and the Mets. And they keep it tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Leading off for the Mets will be Wally Backman. Farr will pitch. Quisenberry ready to go when necessary. For the Royals. And they're going to do that now. So Farr's going to come out. And the Royals are not going to be stupid. They're going to go with Dan Quisenberry right now. 8-9, 37 saves, 2.37 ERA. Quisenberry's mission is very simple. Keep it a 2-2 tie. He can pitch to 6 batters. He can pitch the 8th and the 9th innings. Well, he can pitch to 6 batters, if anything. Quisenberry will go up against Backman. Section 518 agrees that George Brett is better in pine tar baseball. Yes, I know. George Brett in pine tar baseball, that's the best card in that game, I'm pretty sure. No matter what season it is, George Brett's card is probably home run all over the place. Quisenberry will pitch to Backman. That's a 6-3. That's a range play at the park. Shea Stadium, 4-6. It's a ground ball to short. The ball is hit to Concepcion. His range is a 2. Concepcion makes the play, throws to first, out number 1. Great play by Concepcion. Just got it. That's out number 1. Here's Keith Hernandez. Quisenberry with the pitch. 2-5. It's a blank. Hernandez gets the swing. 6-1. Double into center field. That ball is going to bounce off the wall. Hernandez smacks a double to center. And the Mets have the go-ahead run at second base. And the batter is Carter. Hernandez on its second. Carter at the plate. Infield is normal. And no, you don't walk Carter unless you want to pitch to Strawberry. Pick your poison. Hernandez on its second. Carter at the plate. I will roll a strat. A 3. No play. Hernandez has a 1 attempt. but a -1 from Quisenberry is a 0, and you don't do it, and so there's no play. Quisenberry will pitch to Carter. Can the kid come through? Quisenberry's pitch, 2-3. That's a range play. Carter swings, 4-2. It's a ground ball to first. I'm sorry, ground ball to third. The ball is hit to Brett. His range is a 4. Brett can't get it. It's a base hit. Brett can't get it. It's a 5. It's a base hit. It's a ground ball to third. Is it a single or a double? It's a single. Carter gets a base hit. Hernandez's base running rating is a 3. That becomes a single to set a single into left field. It's added 1 is a 4. The ball is hit to left field. Smith is a +1. It's a 5. A 1-5. Hernandez scores. It's a 4. He does. Hernandez comes in to score. RBI single by Carter. Mets lead 3-2. Stadium and Section 518 cheers. Yay! Dan Quisenberry comes in here, and Gary, a double by Hernandez and a base hit by Carter past Brett. And it's a 3-2 game. Not over yet. Here is Darryl Strawberry. The infield goes to halfway, playing for 2. Remember, the team that wins this game plays the Blue Jays in Toronto. Quisenberry will pitch to Strawberry. We'll check a strat roll. Strat says a 10, no play. Quisenberry will pitch. That's a 4-2. That's a possible error on a throw. Strawberry swings, 6-1. Single into past third base. It's a first base. It's a base hit. The ball is hit to first base. Balbona's error rating is a 7. That's an 18, so there's no error on a throw. Carter's base running rating is a 1. To get to third base needs to be a 2. He will not get there. He will hold at second. Base hit by Strawberry. Runners at first and second, and the batter is Foster with 1 out. That actually goes as an infield single. Is what that pretty much, if it's a throwing error, it's usually an infield single and the throw goes away. So no error, though, anyway, on Balboni. He made the play. But runners at first and second now with 1 out. Infield still halfway. Foster is the batter. The Royals are going to stick with Quisenberry against Foster. Strat roll says an 18, no play. 1 out. Quisenberry will pitch to Foster. That's a 3-4 against a righty. That's going to be a star line. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Foster, double play rating 2. Nothing from Quisenberry. +1 is a 3. Second base, Kansas City. White adds none. A 1-3. The inning is over, and it is not. Carter does advance to third. Strawberry is out at second because his base running rating becomes a 3 with the infield halfway. That was a 4. So they cannot turn the double play, but there are 2 outs. As Foster grounds out into a fielder's choice. The batter now for the Mets will be Howard Johnson with runners at the corners. Quisenberry will be tired after Johnson. And really, it doesn't matter if it's a lefty or a righty on the mound. And Quisenberry is still Kansas City's best bullpen pitcher. They will pitch to it. They will pitch to him. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. It's up to Johnson to see if he can give the Mets a little extra. Orozco warming up in the bullpen. Carter on at third. Foster at first. Johnson at the plate. Pitch from Quisenberry. Actually, I need to roll strike. I still need to roll strat. Strat says an 8, no play, because there's always chance of a pickoff. Quisenberry pitches 6-3. That's a range play at the park. Shea Stadium 4-3. It's a star 3, and that's a ground ball to third. The ball is hit to Brett. His range is a 4. Does he make this play? No, it gets past Brett again. Base hit, Howard Johnson. Carter comes in to score. George Foster, base running rating of 1. Is that a single or a double? That is a single, so Foster will have to hold at second base. I believe he holds it. Well, no, I got it. Nope, not quite. Not quite. We got to roll for it. It's a single base, so that becomes an S7. Base running rating of 1 with 2 outs becomes a 2. On a single to 7, it's a -2. It's a 0. And left fielder Smith is a 1. So Foster only makes third on a 1. He does not. He does hold at second base. But that is a base hit by Johnson. 4-2 Mets. Stadium cheers. Yay! The batter now is Rafael Santana, and that is it for Quisenberry. He is done. Comes in here and gives up 2 runs. And George Brett getting killed at third base. A range of a 4, and he couldn't make either play. Royals will go to the bullpen. And they're going to go with Mark Weisman. 1-0, 1.93 ERA. Mark Weisman will pitch to Rafael Santana with 2 outs. Now 4-2 Mets. Santana the batter. Am I rolling for pickoff? Yes, am I rolling for a strat? Yes, I am. Still a possibility. That's a 17, no play. Weisman will pitch. That's a 1-4 strikeout chance. The 8 is good. He gets Santana. Santana's a 6, but 2 from the strikeouts from State Stadium. That is an 8, and he strikes him out, and the inning is over. 2 runs for the Mets on 4 hits. At the end of 8, 4-2 Mets. I like to see inside. Baseball Demos joins us here at Shea Stadium. You like to see inside pitch use turf factors for range plays and double plays like -1 for could bake it in. I mean, you could. I mean, you could probably make a rule for that. I'm pretty sure. Daryl Motley leads off for the Royals here in the top of the 9th. And even though I got 3 straight right-handers coming up for the Royals, yes, you bring in Orozco anyway. 8-6, 17 saves, 2.73 ERA. Jesse Orozco will go up against 3 straight right-handed hitters. He's the best pitcher in the bullpen now. Try to close the game. 4-2. Can Orozco get 3 outs? Daryl Motley leads off. Motley is 2 for 3, a home run and a single. Pitch from Orozco. 6-2. Hit by pitch. The 6 is going to be too high. It's a 4 -10, so Motley gets the swing. 1-1, and he grounds it to third base. Johnson throws to first, out number 1. 1 down. The batter will be Frank White. He will hit. Frank White will go up against Orozco. He did bat 249. Actually, tell you what, let me check the Royal bench. Let me see what I want to do here. Quirk is a better average, but against the lefty, I don't think it matters. No, let White hit. Let White hit. 1 out. Orozco will pitch. And that's a 2-4. Against a righty, that's a home run check. White against a lefty, that's a 20, and that's gone. Jesse Orozco, Frank White hits a solo jack. He smashes that one over the left field fence. It's 4-3. And that was the reason why I left White in there. Home run, Frank White, it's 4-3. Jesse Orozco pitches a meatball. White turns it into lasagna. The batter now is Steve Balboni, and he will hit. Against a righty, that was a home run check. And that's one of the things about Orozco I was thinking, but I'll let him pitch against Balboni. One out. Now it's 4-3. Orozco trying to get the game over. Pitch from Orozco. That's a 1-4. Strikeout chance. 6 gets him. He struck him out. 2 outs. And now it's up to Jim Sundberg of Kansas City. 4-3 Mets. Sundberg is 1 for 3. He hits .245. He's got power against lefties. And I'm going to take Orozco out. And I'm going to go to the pen. And I may be crazy, but I'm going to go with Rick Aguilera and turn Sundberg around. Rick Aguilera will come in and pitch now for the Mets. And that means Sundberg now holds only a 5 chance. Now we'll check the Kansas City bench. See what they want to do. And Sundberg is the catcher. He's going to come out, and they're going to bring in Hal McRae. McRae hits right-handers better. Hal McRae will come in. He's usually the DH for the Royals. He will go up against Aguilera. Taking over at catcher will be John Wathan in case this game goes any further. Rick Aguilera will pitch to Hal McRae. As I take Orozco out, I'm going to see if Aguilera will make the righty. 2 outs. Fans here at Shea on their feet. Can they knock out the World Series champions of '85? Pitch from Aguilera. It's a 2-2. Strikeout chance. 14 is too high. McRae gets the swing. 1-5. It's a ball hit to right field. Against a righty. That's a 12. It's going to fall for a double. McRae gets a double. Tying run at second. Hal McRae, a pinch hit double. Tying run at second base. Unbelievable. The game is not over yet. The next batter for the Royals is Onyx Concepcion. We'll definitely see a pinch hitter for him. Onyx Concepcion will come out. Greg Pryor will take over at shortstop if necessary, but he will not be the pinch hitter. The pinch hitter for the Royals will be Jamie Quirk, batting .281. Jamie Quirk will go up against Aguilera. Quirk has no home run power, but he's got the average. What a ball game. Aguilera now trying to get it. Doesn't have to worry about the home run, but I will let Aguilera pitch. 2 outs. 4-3. Tying run at second. Can Aguilera get the final out for the Mets? Here's the pitch. It's a 2-2 strikeout chance. 13 gets him. He struck him out. That's the ball game. Mets win it 4-3. Quirk has a strikeout rating of 11, but +2 from Shea Stadium makes it a 13. That's a 13. Struck him out. Mets get the win 4-3 and advance. What a ball game. One run on 2 hits for the Royals. And that will do it. Mets win. Mets win the ball game. The Mets win. They knock out the World Series champs. They will travel to Toronto to take on a very good Blue Jays team. Rick Aguilera comes through with a big strikeout. Final line score coming up. Section 518 misses the final out. They're all in line at the restroom. For the Mets, 4 runs on 7 hits and an error. For the Royals, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. The winning pitcher is Ed Lynch. He gets the win. Dan Quisenberry takes the loss. And Aguilera does get the save. Orozco does get a hold. A big win for the Mets as they will advance to the semis. They will take on a very good Blue Jays team. That should be fun. That should be a tough game. As the New York Mets win it here. And it's going to be a big win for the Mets as they move on into the next round. That's the second time the Mets have fallen behind early in a game and came back to win it. They fell behind the Astros early and came back to win that game too. Question is how they're going to do against the Blue Jays. That's a heck of a team. We will find out, and that game is in Toronto, so the DH rule will be in effect. That does it for today, for here, and we'll see you later tonight as the Twins take on the Yankees in Payoff Pitch 85. Steeler fan, Alan Shaw, baseball demos, Cody Travis, Cards and CP, Cards and Dice TV, Keith White, Philip Reynolds. Thank you all for joining me here at Shea Stadium. Yeah, it could be crazy, won't it? We have, of course, the Twins and the Yankees tonight, and tomorrow the Yankees again. They will play the Reds. So we got nothing but New York coming up in the next couple of days here on Inside Pitch and Payoff Pitch. Remember, the Reds will play the Yankees tomorrow in semifinal game number 1 on Inside Pitch. We hope you'll join us for that one. Stay safe, healthy, smart, and strong. We'll see you guys later tonight. Mets move on, beat the Royals 4-3. We'll see you later.